Maybe see it's Dave here. Hadn't posted in a while and been out and about, and I found some CDs here and there, some at flea markets and some at probably most of them at flea markets, I imagine. Well, actually there were some that were down at the library that I found, and so I thought I'd come on here and show that. I don't run into a lot of LPs here in town, and most of them that I do are, you know, not worth bringing home. So CDs are the better format for me. But you know, most of actually I went to a couple of estate sales or garage sales and found a couple of LPs, vinyl. But for the most part, everything's either beat up or, you know, the taste is highly questionable. I'll put it that way. You know, it's mostly stuff like Jim Neighbors and, you know, some easy listening, and some of that easy listening I actually like. I don't mind it. But you know, there's a large part of it that you know, I don't care anything for. And you can only, you know, there again, I mean, it kind of all depends on what it is. But of vinyl, I did find this one, which is a soundtrack to Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, which I saw way back in the day. And it's got the single on it by B.J. Thomas, Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. And actually that song is reprised in a melody, and you know, this is a short album anyway. I think I totaled it up and it was like 20 minutes or something like that. But you know, there's Raindrops Keeps Falling on My Head. It's like on here in either a melody and then actually sung by B.J. Thomas, and one other time I think it starts out kind of that way, 3 times actually. But if you don't like that song, you'd want to avoid this album. But you know, I don't mind it, and you know, some of the rest of it is pretty interesting too. So yeah, Burt Bacharach. I found this one at the I found this at a garage sale, and actually I haven't listened to this yet. Ragas by Ravi Shankar, and Tablas by Alla Raka. But yeah, I haven't heard this yet. And when I found this, the guy was an older gentleman, a little bit older than me actually, and he asked me if I knew what I was buying. I said, yeah, sure, and kind of got into a discussion with him about music. He was more interested in classical music and said he actually saw Ravi Shankar play in New York City. With his work, he would go there, and he got to see Ravi Shankar play with I don't know, one of the famous orchestras, and was talking a little bit about some of the people he'd seen there and stuff like that. So it was really interesting to talk to him. And then I found this album at, I can't remember where I found this actually, but this isn't really a, it looks like an 80s new wave album perhaps, but actually it's really a music album, and was probably put out by some stereo company or something like that, that, you know, to you know, whenever you bought a stereo or something like that, they'd give you a free album to go with it. And on the back here it talks about, you know, music and what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to, like, you know, make your psychology, you know, you feel a lot better or whatever, or stimulate you in some way. And I don't know if I really fall for that. I do think music influences your psychology and maybe calms you down some, but I don't know if any of the songs on here particularly make me feel that way. they call it functional music. If you hear some thunder, that it's getting ready to rain outside. But it says Muzak, since 1934, Muzak has pioneered and developed this sound method of humanizing man-made environments. More than 40 years of continuous research, testing, and development have wrought stimulus progression, which is this album, a practical, inexpensive system for the advancement of areas where people work, shop, and recreate. So it's got like several cuts are on here for different things. You know, like I said, it's sort of an interesting album, you know, for what it is. And it was in pretty good shape, so I picked it up. Got this. This is Spock Beard's The Kindness of Strangers, which was given to me on a site, a website that I usually go to, and the guy there said that if you wanted, there was a guy that passed away on it, and he was a really nice guy. He told the guys there at that site that if anybody wanted, I'm sure they're all part and parceled out by now, if anybody wanted any of his CDs once he had passed, actually I believe his wife had done this, set it up that he would, you know, you could get some of his CDs. And this is one of them. You know, the only stipulation is that you kind of write a review or talk a little bit about the CD. And this one I haven't done yet. This is Spock Beard's fourth album. If you count their, they did a live album before this one. But I haven't written the review yet because I need to listen to it a little bit more. But I think I'm about ready to. But Spock Beard were a progressive act, and you're kind of a mixture of a lot of different things. I wouldn't say that they sounded like anything in particular. I mean, I couldn't say they compared to Yes or Pink Floyd or you know, any of the big name acts, King Crimson, ELP. They're kind of more like a combination of all of that. Well, I tell you what, if I compared them to anything, it'd probably be Gentle Giant, because they had that kind of quirky songwriting, and they sing, and there's harmonies and everything. They're all really talented, and they're really good. They're efficient at playing their songs and instruments. So yeah, I'll listen to this more, and this is on what records? Metal Blade Records. So yeah, it was really nice of that guy to do that, or his wife. And I got this the same way. This is Duke Ellington's Latin America Suite, and I've only listened to this once, and I don't really know if this may be the first place I'd go to for Duke Ellington. I'm sure he's probably got other LPs that are maybe a little bit better than this one, but it's an interesting album, and it's sort of a fun album in some ways to listen to from that era. And yeah, I mean, like it was a good album. You know, I'm not trying to put it down or anything, or Ellington in any way. And like it says Latin America Suite. Haven't heard this in a couple of days, but I guess it's got some Latin songs on it, or influences on it. So yeah, Duke Ellington. This is on what label is this on? Fantasy Records. I picked this up at the library sale, Hot and Nasty. This is a Humble Pie's. It's a 2 CD set, and I didn't have a lot of their earlier stuff, some of their albums, but I saw a YouTube biography about them on YouTube, and well, actually it was on Steve Marriott, who was one of the guitarists in the band, who also played Small Faces. And then he formed this band. It kind of told a little bit about all the players in the band, you know, Peter Frampton and I think his name is Greg Shirley or something like that, some of the other members. One of the main songwriters, I think, was Frampton, and although I think they all wrote some of the songs. So yeah, anyway, this is Humble Pie, and it's a 2 CD set. You know, it doesn't have, I don't think, any of the songs off Rockin' from the Fillmore, which I have on vinyl back in there. Well, it may have. Anywho, Humble Pie. Speaking of Burt Bacharach, I found this one. This is his greatest hits, and I believe it's all instrumental. I've listened to it a couple of times. I'm pretty sure it's all instrumental, and I really like it. He was really big back in the day, and wrote a lot of like on that Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, wrote a lot of soundtrack stuff, and would appear on variety shows and stuff like that. On here's I'll Never Fall in Love Again. Actually, he wrote a lot of songs that Dionne Warwick covered and sang along with a lot of other artists. But this says I'll Never Fall in Love Again. This Guy Is in Love with You, which was sung by Herb Alpert and Tijuana Brass. The Look of Love. What the World Needs Now Is Love. Alfie. Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I was happy to find this actually. And this is one I found down at one of the flea markets. This is Mark Isham's Miles Remembered, The Silent Way Project. And listened to it the other night. It's real interesting. Parts of it are Mark Isham is a trumpet player. I have a couple of his albums on vinyl, but he started making soundtracks. But his first album was on Windham Hill, and this is one of his later albums. I didn't even know this existed until I ran across it in where I bought it, flea market or whatever. But he covers all Miles Davis songs from his The Silent Way, In a Silent Way. Like I said, he plays trumpet and also plays keyboards and synthesizers. And the tunes on here are kind of atmospheric. Some of them are, and other ones are more upbeat and energetic. But let's see, Peter Manu plays guitar, if that's how you say his name. There are 2 guitarists actually. Doug Lund plays bass, and Michael Bersimato, hard to say. But anyway, yeah, Mark Isham, really neat album. I'll be fun to hear this, you know, as time goes on, because I really liked what I heard beginning. And he does, you know, they're not, in fact, if you heard some of this on the radio or someplace else, you wouldn't know that they were probably Miles Davis songs, unless you're real familiar with In a Silent Way. But yeah, Mark Isham. And then I found this down at the library. This is Brian Wilson Presents Smile, and I already had his Smile, is it called the Smile album, on CD? But yeah, this is just a DVD of that. It's a 2 DVD set, live performances, and then there's some extras and stuff on the other CD. So yeah, it's on Rhino Records. So aside from that, that's about all I've been doing, other than staying busy with the house and trying to stay out of the heat here in Texas for the past 2 weeks. I think we've been in the 100-degree area. So I hope everything is going well with you, and I'll talk to you later.